Rory and Maul thought that Drake fans would boo Kendrick right out of Toronto.
I don't know if Kendrick is booking a show at the Scotiabank Arena and people not showing up to just boo him. Like, I don't think Drake gets booed in LA at the crypto at his show. I can 100% see Kendrick getting booed all night at a Scotiabank Arena show.
It's no secret that Toronto loves Drake. I would never debate that. And I think there's a large group of people that would buy tickets to go boo Kendrick Lamar.
See,
I agree with you there. But you also have to think that Kendrick Lamar, for the last decade, has built a pretty substantial Toronto market.
No,
and Canada market as is, that are just Kendrick Lamar fans and want to go see him perform.
You're missing what I'm saying. Okay, so let me explain like this. I think that Drake will do a show in LA while people in LA may not, they'll boo him, but I think it'll be a lot of people there that will definitely support Drake. I don't think I could say the same as far as Kendrick going to Toronto. I think everybody that goes to a Kendrick show in Toronto is going there strictly to try to ruin his show.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, Maul has been wrong about a lot of things in this battle, gang. Pre, post, during, everything. Maul has been wrong systematically almost every single time he's spoken about this Kendrick and Drake battle. But one of the recent most egregious things that he said, and there was no way to quantify this until the event actually happened. But I think Maul was predicting this before the tour even started, that if indeed Kendrick was to set foot in Toronto, that Drake has such a stronghold in that city that his fans would not only come out, but they would come out in droves, buy up all the tickets in the front row and boo. They would proceed to boo Kendrick out of Toronto. This was Maul's delusional situation in his own head. This is why when he went against DJ Head, shout out DJ Head, Kendrick's DJ, who went, I'm not going to say toe-to-toe, but they had a little, if you want to call it a debate, a few months ago where we all of us, and myself included, went nuts. We thought we lost our mind when DJ Head debated a friendly fade, right? A friendly debate against Maul of Rory and Maul, and they talked about the battle and the beginnings, the durings and endings of the battle, and Maul said a lot of weird and wacky things during that online and on his Twitter and during his podcast and all that kind of stuff like that seemed delusional. And DJ had called him, or he said he felt that he came off as delusional, but he didn't really have much to back it up. But this is one of those situations where DJ Head was right, and most of us already acknowledged that Maul is delusional, especially when it comes to Drake. He gets to stay up late, kick his feet up, and lay on his belly and talk on the phone to Drake at night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, about things they want to do, what they wish they can do to Kendrick and his whole squad to exact revenge. So Maul is privileged as one of the people who gets to FaceTime or have audio voice time with Drake on the phone. And to that effect, he comes off delusional just so he can lock in that relationship that night. Like I always say, it's a did I do good balls type of thing when he says these wild and wacky things. So in his delusional mind, he thinks that Drake has such a chokehold on that city that not only would his fans be intolerant of the thought of a Kendrick show coming to diss him, that not only would they feel a certain kind of way, they would actually pay $400 or $500 to be in the front row. Now, this ain't no arena. I don't know. Maul he may have been thinking this was going to be some little club, some nightclub or something, but no, this is not an arena. This was a full-on stadium. You're not paying to come in there and boo. I didn't hear one. First of all, you wouldn't even have been able to boo. I don't think them Kendrick fans would have stood for 2 seconds. And I'm talking about the Kendrick fans from that very city of Toronto. They're not going to pay their $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 to be in the front row with some Drake haters trying to boo the event. I think it would have been a whole lot of issues before they even made it into that arena. I'm just going to be honest. But for some reason, Maul was once again delusional, thinking that this would be tolerated by anybody and that they would come in force It would come in force and make such a stink that he wouldn't even be able to perform. Imagine all that money that they would be spending. Even if he bought the tickets for them. Let's say he bought the tickets, which would be easily traced back to him. Imagine these guys going in there to actually boo this guy. It didn't happen. These people were extremely pleased. It would have took a whole lot to get any type of noise in there other than what the crowd was already doing. This place was rocking, gang. It was rocking. And Maul, once again, fell flat on his face with another awful prediction, another bold prediction that made no sense. And I think at the time, like I said, the battle was still, it was winding down when he made this. It seemed like that the tour hadn't been announced yet. It was so he was speculating from from a position of power, perceived power in his mind, that I think when he made this prediction, he hadn't even conceded defeat yet. So I'm going to give him a little bit of grace for that, because I don't know if you saw how the tour was going down, how things were moving, where this guy was breaking every record in every city, and you still could have said, yeah, I think he gets to Canada and they boo him. No, I think this actual comment, this whole moment between him and Rory had to be before the tour was even announced. So I'm going to give him a little bit, I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack, but even back then, last year, at this time last year, there's no way you thought that this guy was going to all of a sudden come to Toronto. I don't know, man. I think people were so caught up in their little bubbles, they weren't looking outside of themselves and looking at the real world, because the world doesn't work like that. Real people don't take these hard stances where they're going to be like, I'm never, ever. Like, some people were upset. Okay, yeah, I got an article here. I want to read it, because what happened in Toronto was actually embarrassing. It was nothing where it was a hard stance and we don't want Kendrick here no more. No, it was none of that, right? So the root.com got a timeline of what happened when he went to Toronto and he did his 2 shows. And I want to discuss that, because it's so far-fetched that this show would have gone any other way, especially after it got rolling. When you saw what he did in so-called the Houston show, that was supposedly, they couldn't sell Houston and he couldn't sell LA. Remember how they were saying he can't even sell his own, I heard this for months, he can't even sell tickets in his own hometown. LA's slow, the tickets are sluggish. How can he be the king of da-da-da? But they need these narratives, gang. They're doing really bad. Their mental health is really, really spiraling. Somebody needs to check on these people. But the Drake fans got narratives, and some of the narratives were outrageous. And now the new narrative, they're clinging to it, gang. They're really clinging to it bad. Is that the tickets are $20 now. Now it's $20. You guys are selling $20 ticket. Well, it didn't matter, because that Canada place was lit all the way from front to back. A stadium was lit all the way front to back, even if it had $20 tickets, which has been proven false. But at the end of the day, if you did get a $20 ticket, like I said, if you did, I've never ever logged into any ticket show. Even when I told wife, and they said, I saw an article, it said Beyonce tickets are as low as $35. Guess what happened? They all went on there. They said, we're going to do a girls trip. They went on there, $200. So even when they saying that, it ain't really that real like you think it is, gang. So all of that sound good, that the tickets was $20 and da-da-da. He sold out these venues regardless. 2 nights. He had to do 2 nights because the first night sold out, so he had to have a second night. Sold both of them out. And with that being said, there were no boos, there were no hisses. There was nothing thrown on stage, to the chagrin of academics. I got a video that I said that I have already put up a day or 2 ago, that academics is disgusted with Toronto. He's disgusted with the so-called Drake fans after everything he's done for your city, right? Academics can't believe it. He's just beside himself. I don't even know what Maul's thinking about these Toronto people. He probably boycotting Toronto. He probably like, I'm never going back there. Like, so it's a whole thing. But I want to read what happened, because it's so many details that I want to make sure I get them all. So let me have this conversation. The wild, unbelievable timeline of Kendrick Lamar's first Toronto show post Drake diss. Attention Toronto, Kendrick Lamar has officially touched down, whether you attended the Grand National Tour or are simply watching from afar. This effect on Drake's hometown was on full display. And believe us when we tell you, it was truly a sight to see. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, this guy really came there. He did take it over. They had a couple people trying to shut this whole thing down, but it did not work, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Let me continue. The bootleg OVO takeover. Things all kicked off after a fan posted on his Instagram page that they would be throwing a meetup for Drake fans for an OVO takeover. The OVO takeover, gang, I'm going to read it to you, but I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert. It didn't go over well, all right? The OVO takeover was outside of the Rogers Center venue where Lamar was set to perform. The gathering was meant to be a display of solidarity between Drake fans, where they were going to be blasting his music as Lamar fans walked by. They wanted to set up I guess, boom boxes and play some real crazy Drake music real loud and just disrupt the whole event. All right, let me keep this moving. It was also set to be a fun jab towards the rapper who took Drizzy to task last summer. What happened was the exact opposite. Not only did only 5 people show up, but the small social gathering was eventually shut down by police who allegedly received false reports that the group was planning to start trouble. There's only 5 of them, gang. I don't know how much trouble they was going to start. They probably was going to get their head beat in. All right? Let me continue. As a result, the group had to disperse and host promised to mail out hoodies and do giveaways to the ones who were there. So if you went, they owe you a hoodie. So get your hoodie. If you went to the OVO takeover, they're supposed to give you a hoodie. So make sure you hit up this guy who started this whole thing. All right, check him. Make sure you get paid. All right. Quote, we're honestly disappointed it had to end like this. It was all meant for the culture, for the city, and for the fun of it. But the fact that so many of you cared enough to show up means the world, the host said in a since-expired statement on his Instagram page. Thank you for turning something spontaneous into something unforgettable. We'll be back. So, first of all, it was supposed to be spontaneous. This was a whole takeover. I don't know what Maul thought was supposed to happen, but this didn't even get broken up by the police till it was already trash. It wasn't nothing but 5 people there. The police came late. They probably out of pity. They was like, you know what, guys, you're embarrassing yourself. So at the end of the day, I think that this wasn't even going to get off the ground. Whether the police came, they try to blame it on the police. Oh, I saw a couple posts. This guy, DJ, the Academics TV page, they're showing the police rustling up the whole thing. And they erroneously said Kendrick is not letting people play Drake's music outside of the venue. Another miscellaneous, erroneous story that it's just the narrative. I don't even think the Drake fans are even believing these narratives no more. They're getting so far-fetched, but that was one of the narratives that everything that happened was Kendrick. Kendrick ran out of Canada with a police escort. Kendrick arresting people in front of the venue. You can't play Drake's music in front of the show. And Kendrick has police outside of Drake's house to make sure Drake doesn't do that. So it's all these narratives, and they all weird. But let me continue. Kendrick loves the Chinese restaurant. This is in the article. But the Not Like Us love didn't stop there. It had yet another. Hold on, I'm sorry, I skipped something. Not Like Us kills in Toronto. While the OVO Fun Fest was a miss on the outside, on the inside of the venue, fans were having the time of their lives. It looked lit in there, as it's looking lit in every single show that he does. Everybody's having a great time. I had a great time when I went. Fans were having the time of their lives, specifically when it came time for Lamar to perform Not Like Us. The sold-out crowd was just as hype as every other one before it. But in the twist no one saw coming, they went so far as to ask the Compton rapper to run the song back a second time. Gang, I don't think Maul predicted that part, that they was going to say not only run it once, but run it twice. They were saying one more time. And I'm not even sure that I think this was the only venue that asked for it one more time. So not only are they not booing Maul, they're asking to hear it again. Then they went to New Ho King and started jamming to it and made a whole impromptu session. Let me keep this going. Kendrick's love at the Chinese restaurant. But the Not Like Us love didn't stop there. And yet another hilarious turn of events. After the show concluded, fans took to New Ho King. I'm going to New Ho King. When I get up there, I need that Kendrick special. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going back to Canada. I'm going to New Ho King. The local Chinese restaurant that Lamar shouted out in Euphoria last summer, where they continued to blast his music and dance to the hella popular diss song. They said hella popular. That's gay. What's good? What's good, bro? Y'all saying hella popular? Ain't you a news outlet? Ain't you a media outlet? In a now viral clip, more than a handful of fans can be seen rapping along with each other while patrons smiled at the scene and enjoyed their food. Peep the footage. I don't have the footage, but a lot of you saw it and a lot of you already know, but I'm just reiterating that Maul once again looks moronic, ridiculous, out of touch, delusional, and he lacks the foresight to understand that this man's name right now, his reputation is way too strong. It's going to be a real struggle for this guy coming back with this Iceman album. We'll see what the album. I'll listen to it. I'll give it a shot. I don't hate the guy. I just want to see what he's going to do. I just know he's not really equipped to do this hip hop thing at this point in time, which I've been saying for years. Like I said, I used to get into arguments, even on my show, the What Show. They used to tell me. I know a good right before the battle, a good year straight. I used to have arguments on the What Show that you got to include Drake in the rapper conversation. I said we got to stop doing this. I was fighting. I was at him. I was like, we got to stop doing this guy. He can't keep being in this hip hop. He's not a hip hopper. Let's stop this. This was before the battle actually really kicked off. I had to have this conversation, and it got stronger and stronger that, Challz, you can't keep taking him out of the hip-hop conversation. You got to put him in this. Well, guess what? Now the conversation don't happen no more. We don't even get it started, because now when we start talking about top 15, top 20 of all time, top 25, top 30, his name is automatically rejected. We don't even have to bring his name up no more. I don't got to waste 10 minutes telling everybody that this guy's a fraud in this space. He can rap and he likes rap, but he's more of a fan and he's more of a pop star. So let him be in his pop space, but we got to stop putting a guy with ghostwriters in the top 10 conversation. We just got to stop doing it. All right, and I think that argument is done. I think I kind of low key. I think I won that one. So we're gonna keep that on the hush hush. That argument's over. We're done. He's officially retired from all of this top 10, top 5 talk. Right, and we start talking about the greatest rappers of 2000s. We got to take him out of there. I know a lot of his fans feel like he belong in there, but that's not gonna happen no more. Not on my watch. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. CLBMG. Make sure you head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Let them know that Challz said, give me something free. I don't know what they're going to do, but ask them. Also, every Wednesday night, 9:15, we go live on the What Show. We'll talk about everything. We talk about Drake, Kendrick. We talk about all hip-hop, sports, just issues, man. And just tune in. Every week, it's on my page, this page that you're watching, and on like 7 other social media pages, all right? Let me know what you think, man. Get in the comments. Share the page. Share the show. All right, I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.